Greetings once again, dear viewer. Thank you for joining us. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to Women Engage. And for those who are recurring viewers, thank you for joining us and welcome back to yet another episode. My name is Efi Joanna Tieno and I am your host. Today we are delving into the world of IT, computers and phones and all those interesting gadgets and all that, even the cameras we're using here. And we have two phenomenal women who will be taking us through their journey in the world of IT, the lessons they've learned, their highs, their lows, and what they would tell their younger selves or lessons they would give to anyone who wants to venture into that field. Now, before I talk a lot, which I have a tendency of doing, I'll allow you guys to introduce yourselves, so we can start from my immediate right.
Yeah, my name is Deborah Masara. I'm the ICT manager, Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. Mm-hmm. I'm a mother of 2 children and a wife to 1 husband. And I'm a Christian. Mm-hmm. and I love what I do in the space of IT. Mm-hmm. But then briefly, what Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company does, it provides liquidity for banks and SACCOs. Mm-hmm. to facilitate home ownership for borrowers like you and me. Mm-hmm. to be able to own homes affordably. So the value proposition is that we offer interest rates that are single digit, mm-hmm. long repayment periods of up to 25 years. We also offer fixed monthly repayments, that mm-hmm. is through the single digit that we've said, single digit interest rates. And then anyone who earns 200,000 shillings and below can qualify for that loan. So we promote home ownership as well in the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Yes.
Well, my name is Brenda Nyangweso. I also work in the IT space, but I work for the Adventist University of Africa. It's a university based here in Nairobi, Kenya, in Ongata Rongai to be specific, that trains, our focus is on leadership. So we train people to be the leaders for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you so much. And it's very interesting. Both of you are in the same field, IT. One is in banking and finance, basically. One is in university and education, basically. So this just talks of how diverse this field is, and we're going to delve into that. So maybe we can start off by how your career journey has been so far, because we consider IT, it's one of those courses that at some point in time, people are like, it's a bubble that's just gonna burst. When Google was coming up and Microsoft, it's a bubble that's gonna burst. But then lately we've seen a boom in the internet. We've seen a lot of technological advancements. So how did you find your space in IT and how you're thriving, basically? Because I want to assume we are thriving in our careers, otherwise you wouldn't be here, trust me.
Yes.
So you can just tell us a little bit about your journey so far and how it's going for you.
Yes, indeed, I am thriving, mm-hmm. and I think my colleague as well, Brenda, is thriving in this career. I'll briefly talk about how my journey started. I initially wanted to be a doctor.
Okay, you'd be on strike right now.
Yeah, that's right. And my brother, who is my eldest brother, wanted to be an engineer, software engineer. Mm-hmm. So as we did the exams, the KCSE exams, he was able to get more marks than I did. So what happened? God worked in his mysterious ways, and we swapped. Mm-hmm. So he became a doctor, and I became an engineer. So I did software engineering at the Kenyatta University. That now kick-started my career in IT. Mm-hmm. I started as a developer first, programming, writing applications, and that landed me at Google as an intern. Mm-hmm. For about 3 months. So I went to Switzerland, I did programming for 3 months, and then I came back to Kenya and I was employed as a developer in one of the software companies, which I was able to work there for about 10 years. So through that 10 years, I grew from being a developer to being a functional consultant, a business analyst, and then I became a head of department, mm-hmm. That is implementation and support and project management. And then I moved to the finance and banking sector, where I currently am serving as the ICT manager. And throughout these years, this has been about 13 years, it's been progressive growth and really moving from one step to another. You know, tech is evolving every single day. You have to keep learning. You have to keep up with the trends that are going on. And with the exposure of being a system implementer and project manager, I was able to delve into various industries. So I would work in an NGO set up systems there, understand how NGOs operate. Work in a university like she is right now, understand what universities do basically, because when you implement a system, you have to understand what they do basically. Work in a public sector, government setup, and public sector or private sector, understand what they do. So that gave me a lot of exposure, and that has contributed to my success right now because of the vast knowledge that I kept picking up as I grew throughout the 13 years.
Oh my goodness, that is fascinating. Such an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Yes, over to you, Brenda.
Yeah, well, I've also had an interesting journey. I remember in high school, well, people were still trying to figure out what courses they're going to select for university. And I didn't have a clue, I think, when people were selecting courses. So I just, it was just random. I think I selected actually some course at KU. Maybe we would have met each other then, but it was not IT related at all. But it was a science-based course. But as fate would have it, later on in the year, I think we were having like a career fair in school. And this man came on and he was talking about how he was in the technology space, how he developed some cool applications for something. And I was just completely enamored. I was like, whoa, that is so cool. I think I want to do that. So that's how I found myself in the IT space. I remember I just finished my last exam on a Wednesday. The man who had come actually owned a college training on computer studies. And on Monday, I was in class doing a computer course. So yeah, I started off with a diploma in computer science. So that's how my journey began. Yeah, so it's been exciting, it's been interesting. I remember also my internship, I started at UN Habitat in the web development space, doing websites, maintaining websites. And then I grew into the ISP space. I worked for a company that's now MTN Business, Kenya. So similarly, I got to work with different clients, understand different spaces, but my area was mostly in the area of network engineering. So I worked there as a service delivery engineer for about 3.5 years. But I got a lot of exposure, especially with working with different kinds of clientele and understanding different infrastructures, setting up infrastructures, building solutions for clients. And then I went to the .ke space for a company called KENIC, that is a Kenya Network Information Center. It's the company that oversees the .ke domain name. Okay. Yeah, so I got involved with that kind of space also, and especially with Internet Engineering Task Force and all these other, there's a whole space around that domain name system. And then after that, I had a short stint as an independent consultant. And then I found myself at the Adventist University of Africa, now focused on mission, but in the technology space, but for mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point. Maybe just to piggyback on that a little bit, how are you able to use tech for mission and for ministry, basically? Yeah.
Well, technology runs everything nowadays. Yeah. So even if we're doing mission, technology is what boosts and supports everything that we do. So at the university where I work, our main core business is education. We train leaders, we train pastors, we train ministers and other lay workers. So everything, delivery of education is now heavily based on technology. Of course, after COVID, everything has gone online. So we're delivering education not necessarily face-to-face, but online. So technology is the driver behind all of these things.
Considering this space changes like every single day, there is always something new in tech, there is always some new development. You have to, you know, make sure you're at par with all that. How do you keep up with all that changing trend?
Yeah, I mean, it's a delicate balance because just like I mentioned, I am a mother, a wife. I'm the ICT manager, and I have to keep up with the technology. I have to deliver services, support the company adequately, but I also have to keep up with the trends, and it's a delicate balance and something that you have to be able to acknowledge and work towards making sure that all those parties are attended to and there's a balance. So what I do and what the company has really enabled us to do is to keep up with learning, keeping keep yourself abreast with what is happening in the industry. Continuous learning, and I know right now there are so many resources. You don't have to go to a physical training room to get knowledge. There's tremendous amount of information out there, and it can be delivered right at your convenience, even on your mobile phone. So there are many learning resources that I have subscribed to, like LinkedIn Learning. There's vast amount of information on YouTube. There's even AI assisted learning through what is known as Copilot right now, and Bing, and and Bard, all that. If I want to ask something, quickly go there, ask, and there's a lot of information that can help me, make quick judgments or decisions that require you to make them as fast as possible with the information that you have. So that continuous learning every single day enables me to keep up with the changing landscape of the technology.
Okay, thank you so much. Now there's something very interesting, and this one I'll start with you, Brenda. Both of you are, of course, in this IT space, and both of you are mothers, but I've seen you very active, especially in children ministry, where your children are in church singing. You're also there sometimes going with them to choirs and going with them to their lessons. So you're very active in children ministry, but you also seem to be thriving in your career. So how has one influenced the other? Has your Christian life, your church life, your work in ministry influenced your career, and vice versa? Has your career also has an impact on your life as a Christian? Over to you, Brenda.
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm a Christian, and that's what drives every area of my life, whether it's in motherhood, as a wife, as a technologist. Christ is, and my faith in Christ is what moves everything. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So that's where I think just depending on God for wisdom to know how to juggle everything, depending on Him. I mean, I believe really I'm not doing it all on my own. There's God who's my biggest support system. I mean, in terms of giving me the strength, giving me the wisdom to know what to do. And then also, honestly, as a woman, as a mother, as a career woman, you have to have a solid support system for you to be able to do all these things and to juggle all these things. So my family is there, my husband supporting and being supportive. So that's what really helps us juggle everything. Yeah.
Thank you so much. How about you, Deborah?
Yeah, so I would like also to borrow from what Brenda has said. I mean, Christ is the center of all of us, and in the center of all that we do. I know I have had incidences where there's a technical issue and I totally don't know what's going on. But then I whisper a prayer and say, God, I really don't know what's going on. Please work your ways. And instantly, in a few minutes, there's something that just comes up that points you to a solution and it works. So just like as she has said, Christ is the center of my career, my home, and everything. And being involved in church activities is a good break from the work or the labor that we do on a daily basis. Technical work can be very, laborious. It involves a lot of mental work, logic. You have to think to be able to deduce what the problem is. But knowing that there will be rest on Sabbath and on Sunday, especially on Sabbath, and get to connect with family, friends, worshippers in church, and Christ himself in the worship is relieving. You look forward to that every single Sabbath. And to our children, we also want to tell them that we can work throughout the 5 days of the week, but remember that there's this rest, this seventh day, where we are coming back to rest and worship with the rest of the worshippers and congregation.
Ah, that's great. A good way to actually draw that balance. And it's a good example being set for the children.
Yeah.
Now, I know it might not have been rosy, or it might be interesting. Every job comes with its perks. Every job comes with its highs and lows. If you reflect back on your career, what are some of the lessons that you have learned all through that you apply in your day-to-day life, that someone might be out there watching you and is like, oh, I want to do that, and this is a lesson that you'll give to them? What are some of the lessons that have helped you throughout, you've carried with you all along, because you've worked in diverse fields, you've worked with different people, and that in itself is a skill you need, because people can be difficult. So what are some of those most important skills that you've learned also? We can start with you, Deborah.
Yeah, so the first, I know we have grown up hearing this: courage, determination, and hard work. It basically applies. It's true. I mean, that is what has driven me: courage, determination, and hard work. And I would apply this in this area where, I mean, it was known to be more male dominated. If you didn't have courage, would you really try to? No. If you didn't have determination, if you didn't work hard, I mean, you wouldn't thrive in such a space. So courage, determination, and hard work has applied in my life. And if I would still talk to a young person who wants to do that, I would still emphasize on the three words. As much as they are cliche, and they sound so cliche, I mean, they've been used before, but that still applies even now. In terms of skills that I've acquired throughout the journey, tech people tend to be very silent. And they are, I want to say, back-end guys who make things happen in the back end, and then there are people who people just enjoy the services. So we lack the communication and the soft skills and interaction. So those are the things that I've had to learn along the way: how to interact with you, how to not speak too technical when explaining something to you, breaking it down to a way that you can understand as a user or as a person who needs technical help. So those are the skills I've been able to garner along the way. And of course, working with integrity, and being able to deliver results through hard work. Those are some of the skills that I've been able to pick along the way. So another one is leadership, because as you grow, you'd want to also mentor a few people who would also want to come up. Young people would also to come up. So that leadership and mentorship skills I've also been able to learn along the way, so that we mentor people to also come up and take up such roles as they grow up.
Okay. Yes. The trifecta, guys, the trifecta. It still holds in any career field. It still holds. Yes, Brenda.
Yeah, I think the life skills are transferable from the tech space is, number one, problem solving. Because that's what you do for a living, basically. You solve problems. Yeah, and so, I mean, of course, even in your life, life's not smooth. Life is very dynamic, so you also have to be a dynamic person, adaptable, just like technology, you know, it's ever changing. You have to keep up with the new things coming up in this space. And so you have to keep, you know, it's a career that demands lifelong learning. You know, there's no, you don't finish, like I finish my degree or I finish this and that's it. No, you have to keep on learning. So, and I think even to thrive in this space, you have to be generally a curious person.
Yeah, that's true.
Curious to know how stuff works. How does this work? You know, so that's also something that I see that is transferable to life. You know, I think I'm generally just a curious person. So yeah, just being curious, lifelong learning. You know, you're just on your problem-solving mode. And like she said, there are other skill sets also that you need to work on along the way, especially interpersonal skills, people skills. Because for a very long periods of time, you don't have to really interact with people. I mean, you're interacting with systems or, but just coming out of there and intentionally wanting to better your interpersonal skills, communication skills, like she said. But you have to be intentional with that so that you can thrive also, you know, when interacting with other people.
Yeah. Something very interesting, problem solving. You know, sometimes where I used to work, my friend would come with an issue with a computer and I just say, like, we reboot the computer and then it works. And she's like, hey, women in tech. And now I feel very ashamed because I am clearly not a woman in tech. I just know how to reboot a computer. But that's, at least that's the level of my knowledge. So as we wrap this up, I will just give you 2 minutes each to tell us, if you were to give someone watching, a young person who's maybe conflicted or maybe wants to be a doctor or whatever they want to do, is conflicted about their career choices, is conflicted about going into the IT space, or some of them who are already there, especially our young girls who are already there, and they walk into this classroom and they're like 3 girls in a class of 50 guys, and they feel like that's not a space for them. What advice would you give them, just to give them that strength to take up space, to give them that strength to move on, no matter how difficult it may look or how male-dominated it may appear, or how they feel like they don't belong in that space? What advice would you give them?
Well, first I would want to say that you are qualified, and that's why you are in that room. Despite the fact that it's just 3 of you out of 50, you are qualified and you're in that room. So just do it. Just do it. Have the courage, have the determination. You can make it. You will make it. Yeah. So I think that's my parting shot.
You can't motivate them with the money. Just saying.
Well,
there's good money in tech.
There is good money in tech. There is good money in tech, but it's just like I said, you have to take the initiative, like she said, to keep growing, be curious, you know, keep learning. Keep being intentional of your growth. Keep looking for opportunities. Keep volunteering your knowledge. You know, keep learning every single day so that you can be able to volunteer the knowledge and also do things above and beyond what you have been given. So that way you will find yourself scaling up, learning, you know, and growing in the career. In this career of IT, especially as a woman. Of course, there are days here and there that are tough, but that should not be a stumbling block. You pick up yourself, dust yourself, tomorrow is a new day, and you move on.
A bad day is not equal to a bad life, or a bad career. It's just a bad day. Get over it. You get over it. Yes, Brenda.
Yeah, well, what I would say to anybody, anyway, in any career field, is having a strong why. Really knowing why you are doing what you're doing will push you through the challenges, the hurdles, the setbacks. If you have a strong why, a strong motivation why you're doing this particular field, I find that will really help you scale whatever that you will face. For young women, I want to encourage them to pursue this. It's like you said, it's male-dominated, yes, but I think more and more nowadays there are more and more females joining the space, which is a good thing, because the perception was that STEM was just for men. Yeah, but women can also excel at STEM subjects and they can do well, and we have a contribution to make as well. So believe in yourself. Yeah, you are capable, you can do it, and just have that strong why, which will keep you going. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, there are many lessons to be learned from this conversation. Number one, tech guys are very soft and demure, and lawyers are very loud and noisy. But it's okay, guys. It's the life we chose. It's fine. Because I'm just picking out on those significant differences as we go on with this conversation. But I would like to thank you guys so much. And one thing to the viewers, curiosity killed the cat, yes. But in the IT space, if you're not curious, there's no growth, because things are changing. One day we have AI, one day we have ChatGPT, we have Bard, we have Copilot, and there's so much to learn every single time, because a lot of our lives right now is driven by technology. And if you don't immerse yourself in the space and get curious, read, learn, take advancement courses and certifications, then you might as well just opt for a different career. But we're not here to tell you to opt for a different career. We're here to encourage you by bringing you women who have excelled. And as you can see, they're thriving. They look good. Their work is great. And I think all of us aspire to be in that position. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode like I did, because I've learned so much. I'm not in the IT space myself, but now I feel like I want to join the IT space in the legal field. But dreams are valid. Dreams are valid, right? So anyway, thank you so much, dear viewer, for joining us on this episode as we had this fascinating conversation about IT, about technology, and basically how to navigate all that, and lessons that we can pick from our work to our Christian life and vice versa. And I hope you can take a few of these lessons and employ them in your life. Once again, thank you for joining us. I hope to see you in the next episodes, and keep joining us all the time. Feel free to share. This is too good to keep to yourself. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment and tell us what you're doing. If you're a lady in the IT space, you can talk to us. Maybe these are mentors in future, or now. Yes. So thank you so much once again. Goodbye.